Hello and welcome to part five. Not a whole lot of photos to share. I think I maybe inadvertently mixed in a few of the day five photos with or the part five photos with the part four video. So if you want to go back and look at those, you can. Just to kind of restate, I did specifically try to limit my photo ops. I did not want to spend my time looking at things through the phone. I wanted to live in the moment. I wanted to experience everything and have it more so in my memory than in my photo collection. So, not a whole lot necessarily to show on this. Our third day in Berlin. Did sleep well, but woke up at 4:45 a.m. And the sun was up, which seemed to be very early to me. And this was something that Cassandra had really wanted to do, and it's as much as dinner perhaps disappointed me the night before. This exceeded my expectations. So we started walking, got the train, and we went to the Stasi Museum, which does not sound that interesting on the surface, but it was very interesting. For those who don't know what the Stasi is, I don't really want to spend the time on the video to explain it, but it's just kind of this covert operation on the part of the Russians to manipulate um, East Germany and East Berlin, and the citizens they had suddenly found themselves, I guess, in charge of. So that's my 12-second explanation of it. This was a scene frozen in time. So when you walked outside the building, it was very 1960s. When you walked inside the building, they had preserved all these rooms with the chairs and the desks and the conference tables, and it was all very frozen in time. That's for sure. Um, it could be used as a movie set for somebody who wants to recreate the 1960s in something. They could do so very well. It was very creepy. I wrote that there were some negative vibes. If we visited any place that was haunted, and trust me, we visited some castles and some churches and some various places that if there were um, trapped spirits of any kind, the Stasi Museum was in the lead. And I'm not necessarily a believer. I don't really have a whole lot of evidence to believe in that sort of thing, but even I could feel the negative vibes coming from this place. So I mean, there's just literally a whole exhibit on how they used to psychologically manipulate people. Um, they would have people lose their jobs, lose their families, um, just because they might be an enemy of Russia. And it was cruel and it was twisted. It was really really weird. It was a very very good example, again, historical example of weak people clinging to power that they never should have achieved in the first place. If that's the levels you have to go to um, protect what you feel is yours by right, man, you've missed a step somewhere, that's for sure. Um, do recommend the Stasi Museum though. We did have lunch at a Japanese noodle place, and it was good. I would not call it a highlight of the trip, but it was pretty good. Very good Vietnamese coffee and udon noodles. The lady did not understand our order, either that or she didn't hear it. So we did have to go through the line twice. The first time through, I got um, my coffee and noodles, and Cassandra got nothing, I think. And then the second time through, she got her coffee and whatever it was she had ordered. But um, we then went to the Niue Museum in EUE, which was also on Museum Island. So you walked past the Bode to get to the Niue Museum, and the highlight of that trip. And again, this is another spot I recommend. Their Egyptian collection is unrivaled, and they do have the bust of Nefertiti in there, and it is strikingly beautiful. There's really no describing it. I did not take photos. I'm not even sure we were allowed to. It has its own room. They limit the number of people who can go in at once. It's very dimly lit. They want to preserve it as best they can. Um, Interestingly enough, there were outside of that room a lot of works by that same sculptor that obviously were not as good, and you could kind of see how that person had practiced their craft with these previous works to get to the point where they could put this masterpiece together. It's really no other word for it. It's one of the greatest pieces of art I have ever seen, the Nefertiti bust. So um, there were guards outside the room and inside the room, and actually, I made a note here that they did not allow photos. So I don't know that even if they had, I would have taken any. That's again one of those moments I would have liked to have kept in my memory more so than in my hard drive. And there was just sort of a reverent atmosphere about it, and it seemed valid. It seemed worthy for sure. Um, we did go way out of the way and found this Chinese dumpling place that was in the former East Berlin. And it was pretty good. I can't really argue about it too much. I don't know that it was worth the extra walk. And this was one of the rare times where Cassandra got turned around a little bit. Normally I was following her lead, but I kind of had to tell her, look, if we're trying to get back to where we came from, we have to go this way. And she finally agreed with me, and we made it. But Chinese dumpling place, very small, very very much in Cassandra's wheelhouse as far as when she goes to look for a place to eat. She will find the one off the beaten path that is generally worth the trip. And in a general sense, this definitely was. After having walked, 20,000 steps, that made it tougher, tougher to make that assessment. But vegetarian dumplings, very good. A couple of kind of random notes here. We were on the train, of course, as we were a lot on this trip. I saw a young woman with tattoos on her legs, and one of them was a actual size Dr. Pepper logo. If you happen to see it, maybe on a can, she had gotten a tattoo of the Dr. Pepper logo, and I've actually been to the Dr. Pepper Museum in Waco. I don't know. It was a little bit of a weird full circle moment for me. Kind of makes you wonder, when people get maybe Chinese words tattooed on themselves, maybe what the Chinese feel about it when they see it. I don't know, but I found that to be kind of interesting. I did drink a beer for breakfast. My brother, who had been stationed in Germany when he was in the army, had talked about drinking beer for breakfast, and so it was kind of just one of my, I don't know, checklist things. And actually, as many calories as we were burning and as thirsty as I always was, it was really nice. So that was one thing checked off the list. I did have Radler in the morning, and it's probably my new favorite drink for sure. Uh, the Pauliner, I guess, was the brand name of the one that I purchased at the grocery store the night before. So there were some Weiss beers. They were also good. But the Radlers were definitely better. I did not get to finish, though, my breakfast beer before we started off on our adventures. So that would pretty much close out our Berlin segment of our trip. I gotta say, each day had its highlights. The Nefertiti bust was again, not something I'd necessarily ever had on my list of things I had to go see, um, but I'm glad I did. It was probably the highlight of Berlin for me, um, at least on the positive side. There were some heavier stuff that I talked about in some previous videos that were also equally impactful, um, just on a different emotional scale, if that makes sense. So. Um, if I could sum up Berlin, I guess it would be you definitely need to go see the architectural structures that you can East and West Berlin. old school speaking wise. You need to go check those things out. They're just impressive, and you can't really get the sense of them through a, I don't think, through a video or through a photograph. You just kind of need to see them. Highly recommend the museum island, and just the human history that is housed in some of those buildings and some of those exhibits in particular. And that'll actually be a recurring theme throughout the trip, because it was, um, again, good old boy from Oklahoma who would have frankly never gone to Europe, let alone Germany, um, without, some encouragement from my fiance. I'm glad I got this opportunity, and I hope I convey that, even maybe if there were some negative experiences, they were experiences worth having. And yeah, from Berlin, we're going to go visit a much older place, and I think I promised a pigeon story from last video. That's actually going to happen next video. But we're going to get to Rothenburg, Obdatour, Obdetauber, something like that. Rothenburg over the Tauber is going to be our next stop. And again, a place I'd never even heard of before, and just so glad that I got a chance to go see it. Yeah, when we get to part 6, I'll catch you up on that. You guys stay safe out there.